Hi, my name is Bibek Adhikari. I am an English instructor. In today's class, we are going to solve the reading portion of Unit 16, that is, fairy tales. In this section, we shall be studying about a story called A Beggar's Dream. So, let's begin. So, back in the days when you were studying in a lower class, you must have heard, or you must have read some of the fairy tales. Basically, a fairy tale is a story, that is set in the past, contains some fantastic creatures, and happens in a surreal environment. The first question is, why do we read or study fairy tales? The answer is simply because they are enjoyable. Another reason is they teach us a moral lesson. Alright? So these are the two reasons why we study fairy tales. Now we shall be going to read a story entitled A Beggar's Dream. So let's find out what is the beggar's dream. So here's the story, A Beggar's Dream. Once upon a time, there lived a poor man in Gaurigaon. His name was Dhan Bahadur. He was all alone in this world. He had neither relatives nor friends in this universe. He used to beg for his living. Whatever food he got as alms, he used to eat. One day, a generous person gave him 5 liters of milk and told him to do better for his livelihood from it. The poor man brought the milk home and kept it beside him. Then he started to make a plan. He would make curd and sell it in the market. Then he would earn good money and start a business. So this is his plan. Dhan Bahadur brought the milk home and started dreaming. After some time, he went to sleep on his stone-made bed and fell asleep. He began to see a beautiful dream. He was no longer a poor beggar. He wore beautiful clothes and expensive jewels. He was the owner of a big dairy and he himself was its manager. Hundreds of customers came to his office. He used to sit in the office in the tie and suit. He purchased many buffaloes and cows. Very soon, the buffaloes and cows had the young ones. Those young ones grew and became buffaloes and cows. The buffaloes and cows gave milk. He made a lot of butter and curd from the milk. He sold butter and curd in the market. Soon he became richer than ever before. He built a big house for himself. Then he married a beautiful girl. Soon they had children. The children played around all day, making a noise. He scolded them and asked them to keep quiet, but they wouldn't listen. So he picked up a stick and ran after them. Let's see what happens now. Dhan Bahadur began to move his legs rapidly while he was still asleep. In doing so, he hit the milk pot with one of his legs. The pot, which was full of milk, broke, and the milk spilled all over the floor. He woke up and found himself in a pool of milk. He could not think for a while. He was confused about whether it was a dream or a reality. Was he rich in dream or reality? Was the milk spilled all over the floor in dream or reality? Very quickly, he came to know that his castle of dream had crashed. Putting both his hands on his forehead, he started to weep. All this happened because of his daydreaming. This is how the story ends. Now, let me ask you a question. What is the moral of the story? A very famous question that teachers love asking their students, but students hate it. The students, they hate it sometimes. But let's be honest. Let's think about it. What is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is don't count the chickens. Don't count the chickens before they are hatched. Another moral could be don't build the castle in the air. All right? Don't build the dream castle. You can say dream castle. Okay, don't build the dream castle in the air. These could be the morals of the story. Now let's go to the exercise portion. So this is the first portion we shall be dealing with. It is called Ways with Words. And in this section, we shall be dealing with different words, different vocabulary words. The first question we have is, read the text above and fill in the gaps with the correct word from the list below. We have words like dairy, jewels, purchased, scolded, spilled, and crashed. Alright, Bimala, there's a blank space, a beautiful house. So what did Bimala do? Bimala purchased a beautiful house, or Bimala crashed a beautiful house, spilled a beautiful house? No, that's not possible. So Bimala purchased a beautiful house. Let's go to the second one. In her wedding ceremonies, she was full of dairy? No, full of jewels. Alright, she was beautiful and she was full of jewelry. Milk and curd, etc. are blank space products. What kind of products? Dairy products. Very good. Number D. Karuna, blank space, her son when he failed in 6 subjects out of 7. What did she do? She scolded her son. Alright, now number E. The car, blank space, when it collided with the bus. The car crashed when it collided with the bus. The water, blank space, all over the floor since the water tank was leaking. The water spilled all over the floor since the water tank was leaking. Alright, now let's go to the second question. So we have something called match the following. Read the text above and match the words or phrases in column A with their meanings in column B. So we have column A followed by column E. Now we've got to match the meanings. The first word is universe. What does universe mean? It means cosmos or space. Alright, what does the word generous mean? Generous means willing to give freely. Now, what does the word stone-made bed mean? A bed with pieces of stone. Very good. Alms. What does alms mean? Alms mean donations or offerings. Okay. Butter and curd. They're dairy products. Castle of dream. A beautiful fantasy. Alright, this is the match the following section. Now, let we go to the question answer section. Question answer. First question we have is, who is Dhan Bahadur? The answer is obvious. Now, who is Dhan Bahadur? For that, you need to go to the first passage and find the answer. Alright. Dhan Bahadur is a beggar who lived in Gauri Gaon. So this is the answer. Now, let's go to the second question. Number B. What did he used to eat? The answer is, whatever food he got as alms, he used to eat. Right, pretty easy question. So from the first paragraph, we found these two. In the first paragraph, the answers, we found them in the first paragraph. Now let's go to the third question. Number C. Who gave him 5 liters of milk? And there's a question. Why? The answer is, a generous person. We don't know his name. So a generous person gave him 5 liters of milk in the hope that Dhan Bahadur would do better in his life. You can write something like this. A generous person, an unnamed generous person. You can write something like this. An unnamed, because we don't know his name, an unnamed generous person gave him 5 liters or gave Dhan Bahadur. I'm improvising the answer. An unnamed generous person gave Dhan Bahadur 5 liters of milk, comma, hoping that he would do better in his life. Alright, so what is the answer? Who gave him 5 liters of milk and why? An unnamed generous person gave him. An unnamed generous person gave Dhan Bahadur 5 liters of milk, hoping that he would do better in his life. Sadly, he didn't do any good in his life. Now we come to another question, number D. What type of business did he start in his dream? The answer is pretty easy. In his dream, comma, he started a dairy business. Alright, pretty easy. Now there's another question, number E. Why did Dhan Bahadur run after his children? That is the question. What is the answer? Dhan Bahadur ran after his children as they were making a lot of noise. You see, that is the reason why he started running after his own children. But it all happened in the dream. Now we have another question. How did he realize his reality? He crashed the milk pot and he found himself, found himself in fact floating in a pool of milk. That is how he realized his reality. Why did his castle of dream crash? Because it was built on a fake hope, fake dream, a false notion. It was only a daydream. That's why his castle of dreams crashed. That is the end of today's class. Now I'm going to give you some homework, and your homework is going to be this. Read the text once again and rewrite the story in your own words. So this is your homework. All you have to do is read the text, the story once again, and rewrite the same thing but in your own words. So that is what you should do. With this, we have come to end of today's class. If you have any questions or suggestions regarding these video series, feel free to write us at learning@deerwalk.edu.np. Thank you.